with you tonight with the master, Guillermo del Toro.
I barely fit in this chair. I'm like a muffin. Spilling all over.
I prefer to think of it as cozy. You look cozy in the
Pretty
chair.
cozy.
Yes. You all just seen Shape of Water, one of my very favorite films of the year. And I'm so honored to speak with you tonight about it. I'm in the midst of locking picture tomorrow on my film, which is my first foray into fantasy, and it ain't easy. And so just thrilled to chat with you. And one of the things about this that really struck me, and the reason why I was one of the reasons why I was so moved, is your interrogation of the idea of the other.
Yes.
And the ways in which you unpack that so dynamically, just in a robust way that I haven't seen before. Was that idea the kernel of the concept, or how did you get in?
Yeah, I mean, it's been with me essentially all my life, the movie. It started very early when I was 6. I saw Creature from the Black Lagoon on a Sunday after church. And I was looking at it, and I was 6, and I saw that image of Julie Adams swimming, and above water, and the creature swimming underneath. And at age 6, where your glandular system is not developed yet, I still fell in love with Julie Adams, fell in love with the creature equally hard, and I fell in love with the idea of love. And I was almost like trembling, like Stendhal syndrome, by that image of beauty and love and everything. And in my little heart, I thought, I bet they end up together. And they didn't. And I really been, I started then the next day drawing the creature in a double bicycle with Julie Adams, and eating ice cream with Julie Adams. And it became an obsession, and I tried in the mid-90s, early 2000s, I tried to develop this as a story through the usual channels, the 1950s style science fiction. I pitched it as a Victorian exploration remake, and with a love story, of course, and that was a part where they validated my parking ticket and sent me out. And then I thought, well, it'll come sooner or later. And then in 2011, I had breakfast with my writing partner, Daniel Krauss, and he suggested an idea, which was to go to the idea of the janitor in this facility, and that immediately everything fell into place, because every choice, fantasy is the most political genre we can access, because masks fall off and you access pure parable, and every decision you make carries that weight. So if we tell the same story through the main entrance with Shannon or the alpha males as the protagonists, that's the usual movie. And Shannon was cast and wardrobed and designed to be the guy that would have been the hero in 1954. And the creature carrying the girl would have been an image of horror. So you decide to go in through the service entrance, and that immediately tells you what you need to do. You're going through the invisible people, the people without voice, people that don't have a name, like the Russian spy, and each of them is going to get together to save the personification of the other, which is the creature in a way. And obviously, when you make that decision, the theme becomes the otherness, and it became a very urgent movie for me to do, because people say, how timely? And I say, if you're in a minority, it's been timely for a long, long time. It didn't start when you get the tumor. It started earlier. You just didn't get the colonoscopy. But we've been on the other end of the colonoscopy for a long time.
Right. Yes, absolutely. We hear that.
I mean, socially speaking.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I love the idea of this, the Michael Shannon character. I just want to go a little further with that, because, for me it was quite fascinating to see kind of the white male, square jaw, beautiful Michael Shannon. I mean, that performance, oh my gosh. As the villain,
yeah.
And the invisible, janitress,
Yeah.
You know, and her friend as the, you know, the driving force of this film.
Yes.
And at no point did that feel odd to me. At no point was I looking for him. In fact, I wanted more of her. I wanted to know what she was thinking, what she was doing. And I wondered for you, as you know, a man. You had a woman screenwriter. But a lot of the romance that I feel from the film, I feel in all of your work that you, regardless of who your writing partner is, I feel like that comes from you.
Yes.
And so, am I right?
Yeah, I mean,
how did you tackle the romance
pure,
with the
pure
woman?
gender reversal. I mean, when people think Vanessa wrote the lovey-dovey stuff, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Vanessa came in. I wrote solo from 2012 to 2014, and I kept hitting a wall. And Vanessa came in. I met with many screenwriters, and when I met with Vanessa, she had a very smart, very sort of gentle way of saying how wrong I was, you know. And she was like, if we can, and she said, let's beef up the Russian side, because it was just like an aside. And she said, if we beef up that and the general above him, that's interesting. And immediately the movie, that's what she did. She did mainly, I mean, what we did is, I would take over and write whatever, and I would give it to her and say, take over. Don't consult me. You have a month on your own. Do whatever you want, demolish, take, add, and then send it back, and I'll be horrified, and vice versa. And we did it a few times, and I said, always be merciless. Because if we can never be in agreement. So show me your more ruthless remodeling of the thing. And the other stuff, the sappy stuff, if you would, is mine. And the speech she says about what love is, I honestly can't discuss. It affects me still that much, you know.
Fantastic, I felt that.
I'm a sappy.
Yes.
That's why I love I'm a Mexican. I love serenading and sappy stuff. Or shooting in the air. Three things give me great pleasure.
Fantastic. I love that. Can I talk a little bit about the design?
Yeah.
So you a lot of stage work.
Yes.
Right? And so you're embracing the stage in a way that I think so often, you know, I'm looking at films in the past few seasons where there is an attempt to hide it's a stage.
Yeah.
But it was a real embrace of
almost theatricality.
Absolutely. Always in mind was the initial design. How was your approach to it? And you built a tank on stage as well.
Well, that's I'll tell you a long story. This movie, the first approach to what number we got was 65 million. And then Serge said, can you do it? I said, how much can you give me to get complete freedom? And Serge said, I said black and white. And they said, black and white 16.5, color 19.5. And I said, color it is. and we did it for 19.3. We ended up under budget. You know, and the secret is, I had 3 years really of very quiet work in pre-production. I designed with a group of two artists and myself. We designed the basics of all the sets. I knew what I was going to need before even anyone showed up. And I knew, I scouted, and my scouting bill was myself, my car, and the gas. And I scouted Toronto over the years that I did the Strain and Pacific Rim. I would drive around, I would say, that's an alley. It was very hard to find Americans in the 60s in Canada. It is. There's always that building that ruins everything.
And on that budget, you're looking for practical locations that fit right in.
But I said, I'm gonna. What I do is, I wanted to make a movie that felt like a classical movie. So Powell and Pressburger, Stanley Donen, very Douglas Sirk. You know, and they have a certain artificiality to the sets that is beautiful. So the window, for example, that divides the two apartments, the window is taken directly from the red shoes. If you see the red shoes, that's the window in the impresario in his office. And I wanted it to be a quote. And because I wanted the movie to be about one thing that I have experienced is cinema has saved my life literally several times. And not great cinema. It's not Citizen Kane stopping me from committing seppuku. It's any Sunday movie at the right moment, the right melodrama, the right comedy, you are like Sullivan's Travels. You know, at the end, you're Joel McCrea crying and laughing and saying, this is great. And I wanted a movie that was in love with love and in love with cinema. So that artificiality, thank you, came, I wanted the camera to always be roaming. And then we did a lot of sets. And here's what we did. In between season 3 and season 4 of The Strain, we had to hold the stages for this next season. So I got a great deal.
Oh, wow.
I got a great deal.
Wow.
I said, well, and then when we tear down the sets, I knew what the beam structure was. And I would say, I'll take care of the demolition and I'll keep the steel structure. And then I designed the sets around that steel structure.
Wow.
So I saved myself many million by repurposing the steel structure. Then the water work, what we did is the opening and the closing, there's not a drop of water. It's all done dry for wet. It's an old technique that I used to do for my short films when I was younger. And I said, let's do it. And what we do is obviously fill the stage with smoke, shoot in slow motion. Everything, every prop and her and everything is sustained by piano wires. And we blow air in her hair and her clothes to float. And the camera moves very slowly and it looks like you're underwater. And they pretend that they're underwater. You know? And then the central scene, I knew I needed to sink it because there were plastic curtains and he was moving her. So you cannot pretend that on wires. So what we did is we went and said, which are the 4 beams that are the furthest apart? And we did a sort of Mexican version of a Sanford and Son pool. And we went like, let's just do it rough style, you know? We put walls between those 4 beams, sealed them with silicone, filled it with water, measured the bathroom set to build it so that it could be separated by saw from the main set, and with chains sink it in that improvised summer pool, and we shot it in that summer pool.
Come on,
Yeah.
that's awesome. That's incredible.
Yes.
That's pretty great. Goodness. Okay, we're learning how to shoot dry for wet. We're learning how to avoid tanks. Just build your own tank.
You can reduce. It's like popular mechanics. Reduce your budget by $5 million. It is simple. Now the other thing I do, and I do it in every movie, because I always say your ambition should always exceed your budget, no matter what. This is 19.5, all right, minus 2. Pacific Rim was 195, so we moved the decimal point 1 size. I wanted the movie to be like 300 million. And what you do is I say, I need these gestures. Because it's like, if I take you to dinner to a really expensive restaurant, the first couple of times, and I pay, your impression is, Guillermo is so generous. And then you pay the 3rd time, and maybe the 4th time. But you do the same with the audience. You open with a big flourish. A few minutes later, another big flourish. And then you don't realize that most of the movie is shot in 2 apartments. You know, because I'm giving you breathing, I base the breathing and the big gestures, so you go, wow, that's a big lab. That's a big corridor, you know? And then the reality is 3/4 of the shoot is in the apartments.
Incredible. You seem to have a zest, because I've heard you talk about the low budget in a way that is really refreshing. It's not like, oh, we have a low budget. It's like, yeah, how can I make beauty and magic on 19.3?
Yeah.
And having played with the biggest budgets,
Yeah.
and multiple series and huge hit films, it seemed to be a bit of a, I don't know, a toy train kit for you in some way, to see if you can get your vision in on these small
I think so. I'll tell
Was
you.
that a part of the...
No, what happened to me, I learned it by seeing somebody else do it. Like Alfonso Cuarón and I produced a movie with Alejandro, a movie called Beautiful. And that movie we did for an X number. It was quite big. And the movie was beautiful, no pun intended. It was gorgeous, but it didn't look particularly big. And Alejandro then, the movie didn't connect the way we expected it. And Alejandro got supercharged, and he said, I'm going to do another one, but I'm going to do a smaller one. And he did Birdman, which is much bigger in scope. And I thought, Jesus, he did it with less money, and it looks 3 times the size of the other one. And I thought, budget is a state of mind. And it is in a sense, because when I had my chat with my producer partner, I said, Miles, the first producer I offered him the movie, he said, can't do it for 19.5, impossible. I can't do it for 25. You cannot do it. I said, goodbye, thank you. And then I went to Miles and I said, remember when we're 50 or more, we're fat, spoiled motherfuckers. I said, can you go back with me in time to when we were 19, and somebody would have told us, can you do it for 19.5? And we would have gone, absolutely, 19.5? And I said, if we don't have that attitude, we cannot make the movie. And we got that attitude.
Yeah. So you've just offered to take me to dinner. I'm gonna.
An expensive restaurant.
Yes, for the first couple times. I'm looking forward to it. But you also have made me many promises over the years, and your promises always come in your opening image. It's the promise of what the film will be.
Yeah.
I went back and watched Pans the other day.
Yes.
One of my favorites. And that first image.
Devil's Backbone is beautiful, the opening.
Yes, that's so beautiful opening as well.
I like
if
those.
he may say so himself.
I don't like a lot of them, eh?
You don't? What about, you don't love the Pans opening?
Oh no, yeah, I mean, my favorite is this one, then Devil's Backbone, then Pans.
That's your order?
Then conspicuously enough, Crimson Peak for me, and so on and so forth. And you don't have to agree with the ranking, but it's because they land close to where you want, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think the first image defines the tone of the movie. Now, in this instance, what is the most difficult thing to direct, that I couldn't have made this movie any sooner than I made it. It required every trick, every skill, every thought that I have acquired over a quarter of a century of directing film. And it's because the hardest thing to do in this movie is sustain it tonally. Because every single decision, visual, audio, and actoral decisions, needs to go through 5 genres. It's comedy, musical, thriller, monster movie, Cold War, spy, and if you make a decision that does not travel through the genres, whether it's the camera move, the color style, the lighting style, you are gonna stumble. Because the difficulty on this is, I think the harder the movie, the more you're awake to the beauty of what you need to generate. And I think there were, Pan's Labyrinth, there were 20 reasons why it shouldn't work, and 5 why it should. This was 50 reasons why it shouldn't work, and a single one why it should.
What was that?
Faith. Faith, because I sustain that I like the word much more than vision. Because vision sounds to me a little entitled. You know, he has a vision. No, I have faith. I may be a moron, but I have faith. You know, I have complete faith that we're gonna make it. You know, and I think faith equalizes you. It doesn't give you the big head of the visionary. I don't get it. When they say visionary, I always say that means the last movie didn't make money. I'm a visionary director. Don't check the grosses. I'd much rather, no, you cannot advertise it from a man full of faith, because then they expect you to cure people. You know? But it is faith. We directors need to thrive on faith, you know? And the first image encapsulates the fairy tale. I need you to know that you're in the hands of someone that is going to take you to a place you haven't seen. And very rapidly, there's always a moment in which I take the audience to what I call a walkout moment. And you're comfortable in the movie, and then I take you to a place that may make you uncomfortable. In Pan's Labyrinth is the bottle on the nose scene. In this is the fact that your princess of Beauty and the Beast masturbates in the water. And it's a thing that makes many audience uncomfortable. And I knew that I needed it because I wanted the entire engine of this movie is these women. The entire engine, the decision making, the bravery. This is not a beauty that gets fucking Stockholm syndrome by being incarcerated by a brute and says, "Oh, he's so sensitive." No, this is her. Is the engine of the entire emotion. She says, "I'm gonna rescue him. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna, you know." And she needed to have a complete life. She has a life. She doesn't need. She's not dreaming of a prince. She's not listening to romantic stories. She's quite. And then she recognizes a beauty and an essence in the other that connects with her own essence. So that's an image floating above in the water. You know, she cooks her. Everything is water in the opening. The back of the calendar says, "Time is but a river flowing from her past." She boils her food. She gets in the bathtub. She dreams of water. And then she's above the same. And these things inform you what her state of mind is, what she thinks, because she has no dialogue.
Can you talk a little bit about Sally and your collaboration? You know, I really wanted to get into, you know, were you rehearsing with her?
Yes.
How were you kind of, was there a plan for the performance? Did you just kind of let her go? At what point is she learning sign language?
Yes.
Did you ask her to have it completely be off book in terms of the script, or did you ask her to actually learn sign language and then interpret?
Well, what we did, I wrote the movie specifically. I wrote the movie specifically for Sally, for Michael Shannon, for Octavia Spencer, and for Doug Jones, specifically. You know, and it's because it's like writing a song for a singer. You keep their voice in your ear. I started writing in 2012, and I immediately knew it was Sally. I contacted her agent. I had my agent call her agent and say, "We want you to know that Guillermo is writing a movie for Sally." And then I saw her like a year and something later, or 2 years almost, and I said, "I'm writing a movie for you in which you fall in love with a fish." and she says, "Great, because I'm writing a story in which I turn into a fish." And I said, "Really?" And we started exchanging. She sent me her story, and I took the scars on the neck from that story, and the salt in the tub from that story. And we started exchanging material. And then months and months and months before, she started rehearsing tap dancing and ballroom dancing and sign language, many months. I write a biography for every actor in my movies. I write a biography that is between 4 and 8 pages long of the character. And I describe what they eat, what they don't eat, what colors they like, what colors they don't like, what they watch, what they read, how they were born, family, blah, blah, blah. I tell them, this is what people don't know about you and you shouldn't share with the other actors. This is your secret. This is what people see you as, and this is how you see yourself as. Biography from birth or before all the way to the beginning of the movie. And then some of them take it, some of them don't. Like Richard Jenkins went, "I don't know what I'm going to do." And threw it away. Octavia took it like faith, you know, like the Bible, blah, blah, blah. And with Sally, I said to her, "I really think you and I know exactly as much each other of the character, so I'm not going to write anything. I'm going to give you a kit." I gave her a kit with Harold Lloyd, Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin, and Stan Laurel. And I said, "You have to watch Stan Laurel, because he's the key to this character, because he is the only one of all of them that did everything without doing anything. He's a comedian in a state of grace. And that's what we need. Not innocence, grace. A very different concept." And I said, "And you need to move like them so that you move like the creature. So you and the creature have, the screenplay was designed so the characters that speak, all of them have problems communicating. You know, Zelda cannot talk to her husband. Jenkins has a huge confusion with the pie guy. Strickland covers the mouth of his wife. He doesn't want her to talk, blah, blah, blah. And the ones that don't speak, silence is so precise with them. And they have a communion, you know. And so Sally and I started working. She learned all ASL. And I said to her, "I promise you 2 things with this mute character." I said, "I'm going to give you a song and dance number, and a monologue. And the monologue, which I can't disclose in only the broadest terms because I get really choked, is I wanted the monologue to her face to be so full of emotion that you saw the words were not sufficient. And I said to her, you need to emphasize and lean on the words with the sign, the way you would lean on a word in dialogue. I want you to tell me when you need to underline, same with the fuck you know? Mm-hmm. I said, be stone cold about it, you know? But in the monologue, and then you get 3 monologues in one, you get the emotion, then you get the words, and then you get Richard Jenkins having an epiphany about what love is. Mm-hmm. That reveals himself. Mm-hmm. With Sally, we started working, we do table work, we do rehearsals. The only guy that I kept apart from the rest of the group was Shannon. I said, you're not gonna rehearse with them, you're rehearsing with me. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want them to like you. Mm-hmm. I don't want them to meet you, even.
Wow. So your rehearsal techniques with Doug Jones and Octavia mm-hmm. and Sally. So Doug is present. You know, Doug is how tall is he? Like 6'5" or something. And
he was blessed with no chest and no ass.
Fits perfectly in the costume.
It's like a wire armature. I'm the Antichrist to Doug Jones.
So you're rehearsing with the 3 of them, and Shannon is completely separate. So
mostly, Doug and I have 20 years of relationship. Yeah. You know, so I know how to direct him. He's a guy that responds to instructions that are physical and emotional, very quick, you know. But with the others, what I did is I established little camps. Octavia, Sally, and I would rehearse one day, and it was like psychotherapy. We would end up crying, and, you know. And then Jenkins and Sally would rehearse separate because they had their own friendship, and then we would all rehearse together. And Doug and Sally, I knew one thing: they were not going to talk. So I put them to rehearse in dance, because if you remember in basic theater exercises, you have the exercise of trust, where you fall backwards, you catch, you're caught, you know, blindly, you know. And I said, dance is going to give them that intimacy, and it did.
Absolutely. Don't have anyone telling me how much time we have. But,
well, as much as they can stand it.
Okay. Okay. The idea of I heard you say somewhere that emotions are the new punk.
It is.
It's the riskiest thing you can do.
It is.
I mean, this film is brimming over with emotion of all kinds, and I think, you know, we were talking a little bit backstage about the idea of content in films, right? Yes. And the emotionality and interiority that our industry, in some ways, this size of a film and this subject matter of the film and the approach of the film is not what people aren't knocking down the door for a film of this size and of this kind. And yet it's imbued with so much emotion, brimming over, the confidence too at this stage in your career, you know, take a step into this kind of picture. I just want to talk about where were you, your mindset, your heart space when you decided to make this film? Because it's a quite a brave effort, I feel.
It is. Well, you know, all of my life I've been trying to make clear that the fantastic as a genre is still a minority. It's still looked down upon. And I still think that that's a huge mistake. When cinema was born, it was born hand in hand with Chronicle, which were the Méliès, the Lumière recording the train arriving to the station or the exit of the factory workers, and the Fable with Méliès, and the fantasy. And ever since then, before it was put into a little separate room for itself by the B Productions, there was no notion of genre. You had poets like Dreyer saying Vampire, or you had people like Murnau saying Nosferatu, or you had Caligari, and you had Whale, who was a very prestigious director doing Frankenstein and so forth. And we didn't know the difference. It was just great cinema. And then with the advent of B movies and the fact that they were B programmers, it decreased in its category. But the fact remains that it has still given us some of the greatest images in the catalog of images of film. And the stature of a film image is something we don't discuss enough. If I may discern on that a little bit, because everybody talks about the superiority of the long form, the long arc TV over film right now. And there's a salvitude you need to make. It is true that in the long form, you get a literary depth on the storyline that approximates literature almost. And you can go up and down with a character in a beautiful way that you don't do in 2 hours. It's different. But the one thing that it doesn't do, it does not generate mythical size imagery. It does not. I am as much addicted to those series as anyone. And if you put a gun to my head and you tell me to name 4 indelible images from The Sopranos, images, not moments, I can't draw them. I cannot draw them like the way I can draw Gene Kelly hanging by the lamppost and singing in the rain. I cannot draw them like Chaplin going through the machine. I cannot draw them like the elevators opening and vomiting blood in The Shining. Those I can draw exactly the composition. I know them. I know Kane walking in the Hall of Mirrors. That size of image belongs and is guarded by film. And I think it's extremely important to keep it that way, you know. But back to where I was. Where I was is honestly, the 3 movies I've made that have basically, I've done as final movies, or where I say, I'm gonna bet everything. I don't care. Devil's Backbone, Pan's Labyrinth, and this one, you know? And this one came at that moment. Very difficult personally, very difficult this and that. But there's a moment when I said, okay, I'm 52. I've done 9 movies. What am I gonna say that I haven't said before? How am I going to be as a person? Because what is filmography for the world is biography to you. You know, we sell our soul to a particularly inefficient devil that gives you 3 years of your life in exchange for an IMDb title. and we're still so stupid to make a deal with that devil. And then, but when you cross 50, you go, what am I going to do that is worth it? How am I going to put myself in danger and at risk? Not how am I going to do a movie where I get notices or money or my little Hollywood house, whatnot. Screw that crap. Is how am I going to put myself to grow as a man? And I said, these are the 3 or 4 things I'm